What day it was. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Tonight is going to be a very casual night tonight. I felt the need to really help all of our members and affiliates point out all the highlights, the benefits, the features of our booking engine, of our product offering, clarify some things. I'm going to go over a lot of this. A lot of you guys know that myself and Jake and a couple of leaders in our company have been doing a lot of B2B stuff and nonprofit stuff, as well as employee benefits, and working on some bigger deals to bring the one that bring in the many. And so I've been doing a lot of demos and really pointing out the value and the benefits. And I realized, I'm like, gosh, we haven't ever done this for our own company in quite a while. And a lot of people, when they get onboarded, you might get onboarded by somebody that may not be qualified to show you what you need to know to create that stickiness and that value. And so I thought it would be smart for us to do that tonight. It's not going to be a long call, but I do want to point out some of the things for you, just to create a lot of value and belief for you guys. But more importantly, when you're showing this membership and the benefits, I want you to know where to go and point the right things out. Does that make sense to everybody? Because I really believe that a lot. I get here's the deal. I get text messages. I got one today, and that said, "Hey, I've been a member for a year." And I haven't really logged into my membership, and so is not able to help me today. Is it something that you could help me out with? Right? That how many of you guys know what I'm talking about? And so I figured, you know what? Instead of leaving it up to the person that may or may not enrolled you properly, it doesn't really matter. I thought it'd be a great tutorial for each and every one of you. Now, I am going to be logged into my travel agent portal, because that's what I am as a travel advisor. But if you're a Passport Light member, you would just have access to hotels only. If you're a Passport member, you have everything that the travel agent has access to, minus booking travel for others. And then if you're a travel agent, you got you got it all. So I want to just point out some things. I know the Catlows also point things out as on the travel agent training calls to everybody, specifically geared towards travel advisors on Monday nights. So this will be geared more towards every member in our program. And so I'm going to dive into this. I believe I'm recording, so we're good there. And just kind of point out a couple things. So, like I mentioned earlier, that if you are just on the Passport Light membership, you're only going to see this hotel's portal. Now, a couple things I do like to point out, and I'll show some examples on this just for some of you that are brand new tonight, is we will beat the public sites about 80% of the time. We are never perfect. No site is ever perfect. But I want you to understand how this works and how you can answer and handle those questions that you might get. And for some of you that have been around for a while, this will be a refresher course. But you want to just imagine about 8 out of 10 times we will always be the best online price. You might ask, why not 100%? Well, there are hotels chains that will do fire sales the night of, the day of, and they'll reduce their pricing down because vacant properties don't make any profits. And so they're going to put butts in those seats, or heads in those beds, if you will, to offset their losses. So they're going to reduce the price. There could be a convention or something going on at that hotel where the occupancy is higher, so they don't need to reduce the price. Now, what I will share with you is, if you're flexible, and meaning, like let's say you're in Vegas and you're at Hotel A, but Hotel B is right next to Hotel A, and Hotel B can save you a significant amount of money, and you could stay there instead of Hotel A, you're going to find a better deal. So my point is, you're always going to find a deal if you're flexible on a hotel within the radius you're looking to stay. Does that make sense to everybody? And so now, for those of you know that we have 110% price match guarantee, meaning if you do book a hotel room at a property and it's the same description, it's garden view or ocean view, double bedded room, like the description is identical from our booking site to a public site, and you do find it cheaper after you book, we give you 110% of the difference back in a travel credit towards your next vacation. It'll actually show up in your account. So drop 110% in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. So either we'll meet or beat any price out there. We have 110% price match guarantee. As long as you're flexible, you'll always find a value, a savings, a deal. If you're like, nope, I got to stay at the DoubleTree on this prop date, on this day, we may not beat it. That doesn't mean this doesn't work. It just didn't work for you that time. Book through us, and then you can submit a ticket. And as long as it's the true comparison example, we'll give you 110% of the difference. So you're going to win either way, which creates a win-win scenario. So, with all that being said, we all have a bucket list to go to Bali. I think around the November time's a better time of year to go. I should ask my pro travelers on here. But this booking engine works just like any other booking engine. You put your destination in, you pick the dates you want to go. What's great is on the left side of the search, you can search by star rating, you can search by all inclusive, you can search by condos or housing or resorts. You can search by specific property type. So you can really narrow down your search to the best of your ability, the way you want to search for specific things. Now, we normally do up to 70% off, but as you can see, there are some savings that are much greater than 70%. And by the way, this is fun to do because I don't know about you, but this gets me dreaming. It inspires me to go, wow, I can actually afford to go to Bali in November for a week and stay at a decent place for $16 a night. Now, anybody on here have a cheaper rent or mortgage than $132 for a week? Because if you do, let me know your secrets. It's unheard of, right? And so understand some. Here's a property 80% off. I mean, you can see the value of what we have with this membership. So when I'm showing people this one-on-one, I'll say, hey, if your health and your finances were in check, where are some of the bucket list items that you want to go check off? And I'll get them dreaming, and I'll show them the value of everything that we're doing. I'll show them pictures of the rooms, and I'll show them pictures of the property and all the different things that we can do. And so just get involved and get familiar with your membership and the value that you have with what we're doing. Does that make sense to everybody? And you could do this all over the world. I mean, I could do, it doesn't really matter where I do there. We could do it all over the world, but ultimately, we could do Miami, Florida. Obviously, summer vacations coming up, so a lot of people are starting to travel now. You could go there for a long weekend, and it just doesn't matter. So you can pick. Tonight's not designed to show you how to use the hotel booking engine because most of us already know how to do that. But I always start with this when I'm doing a demo because it's relatable to what they're already accustomed to doing by going onto a public site. And I'll show them the deals, and I'll typically go click the 5-star, the 4-star, the 3-star properties because most people want to stay in a higher quality property. But you can see 54% off at the Noble, the Sol Miami. It's a great property. For a weekend, you're staying for $337.89. Now, one thing, a side note before I go to the next segment, is sometimes you're going to get people going to do the price comparison game from a public site to our site. This is very important for each and every one of you to hear, is whenever you're doing a price comparison with somebody, you must go to the credit card page on our site and the credit card page on the public site, so to get a true comparison, because some sites include everything with taxes versus not taxes. So ours is $337.89, but then they're going to pay the tax at the resort, which is an extra $107. Some people have it bundled, so you have to have a true side-by-side comparison. Drop a 5 in the chat if you heard me. I definitely want to make sure you guys can all hear me on that because that is very important. I've had people say, oh my God, we're more expensive. I'm like, did you go to the checkout page? Did they go to the checkout page? Most of the time they don't. And that's where you're going to find where there might be a misstep. Okay. And so that's how that works. The next thing I like to point out are the getaways. These are amazing. So I start with hotels, I go to getaways. All right. Now, what I explain throughout the getaways is I'll go click on the condo getaways. Now, let them know there's two types of getaways there's the value condos, but there's the premium condos. Now, these are ridiculous. And here's how these work if you're flexible, on your dates where you go, you know what? I think in September we've got a week off. Why don't we go check out what's available in September? Here's an example in Lake Tahoe, and you can see it's a one bedroom. So there's studios, there's one bedrooms, and there's two bedrooms. This is a one bedroom for a week, 8 days, 7 nights, 50% off for only $575 for the week. This is a tremendous value that we offer. Here's an example in Orange Beach, Alabama. This is a one bedroom. As long as you're available to go on November 16th for that 8 days, you can go for $649. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Here's a one bedroom. Let me back up a minute. Look at here's Park City in June. By the way, going to Park City in the summertime, you can do the mountain biking down the hills versus snow in the winter for a week. You're going for 625. It's a two bedroom. So you can have two couples go and split that. You can bring a whole family. So do you guys, when I'm explaining this, I'm sharing the vision of the value of everything that we have to offer. Here's Kissimmee, Florida, two bedroom property, water parks for $885 for $100 a night for two bedrooms. You could have your kids come or I'm back. All right, so here's how it works. Sorry about that. My internet must have went out. Did you guys hear what I was saying last? I don't know what you heard last, but did you what as far as the getaways go, there's 24 of them. They fluctuate at any given day and time. It's whatever's available. Beautiful opportunity to showcase the value. If people book one or two of those a year or one a year, it'll save way more than the 250 annual option that we have with what we're doing. You guys understand that? Here's a value. Here's the value condo getaways. I point these out. I let them know there's about 20. They change regularly. Now here's another example. This one's in October. I would love to go to Tahoe in October. I love the fall feeling. For 300 bucks, 299 for a week in October, going into November. What a great time to go. If you're into the Ocean City, Maryland boardwalk right on the beach, it's toward December, it's a little bit cooler, but for 199 for a week, you can go get a studio. So you guys can see this is all over the place. Here's, New Bern, North Carolina, one bedroom, 50% off, 325. It's in December. So you guys can see there's Branson, Missouri on here. There's Vail, Colorado. How many of you would love to go to Vail for a one bedroom condo and you're going for a week, 8 days for under $400? It's insane. You can't even have two meals in Vail for under $400. So let alone stay for a week. So if you notice, I'm sharing the value, I'm sharing the vision, and I'm reducing this down to like the ridiculous where I'm like, you can't even have two meals in Vail for less than a week of your admission to go. Do you guys get where I'm going with this? So I'm making it a complete what? No brainer, right? With what we're doing. And these change all the time. So I point those out. So I start at the hotels, I go to the getaways, I start with the with the premium, then the value. And then I go over here to the fantasy getaways. These are curated trips, packaged, tied in a bow for each and every one of you all over the world. These are curated trips. Like, for example, 25% off. You go to Norway. All right, let me give you an example. There's a video here that promotes this trip, which is great. But if you notice, it shows you what's included. Not only just your hotel and your meals, but flights round trip from New York City. All right. And it has all the different things that you're going to do along the way. So for those of you that are solo travelers, or you're not very savvy going abroad or whatever it may be, this might be the way to go, where you already have a pre-packaged experience so you don't have to think on what you should or shouldn't do or miss. And then you're going to meet other travelers along the way, because I'm sure it's more on the group travel side. You can see here what's included, and all the extra flights are included. It's from LA. You got 22 meals. Don't eat them all at one time. You got all these cool things you can do. There's the whole itinerary, 15 days, 13 nights. It's unbelievable with what you're doing. And so what's neat is you can go through here and show this to people. I believe there's a Bali one in here, or Bora Bora. This is one I always like to point out as well. This one here is 9 days, 8 nights at the Intercontinental, right? Over the water bungalow. This video will sell it. It includes the Love Boat tour and lagoon, 2.5 hours. So do you guys see the value of this right now? If you go price this out on your own, it's going to be at least 25% higher or more with what we're doing. All right. So I point two or three of those out there. And then I let them know, hey, there's some really screaming deals. Some of them are 3 star, some are 4, some are 5, but there's over 1,500 getaways. You can search by different, most of these are in the United States, which is huge value. But how many of you realize, like, there's one I always like to point out on here? It's at the Planet Hollywood, and there's specific dates, 3 night, 4 days in June and July, right before 4th of July. But your total price is $62.54 to go to Vegas for 3 nights, 4 days. You can do this all over the United States, and you can find deals, and you can go search different areas. You can just spin the wheel and see where you want to go and see if there's something available. Here's Breckenridge. There's 4 examples there. It's for a long weekend, 28th to the 3rd. It looks like it's about 5 or 6 days for $778, and you can see 50% off. Do you guys see the value of this kind of stuff with what we have here? So as long as you're not just trying to stay in the box and go, okay, let me go find a resort or a hotel. Let me go see what access I have to these getaways with staycations. And then there's also some cruise getaways as well. I'm not going to go through all of them, but again, you can see these, $430 a person, save 145 bucks on the Bahama cruise, and you can see all the details on everything. So I let them know if they play not just in the hotels, but the getaways, there's going to be a tremendous deal. And then the last part I point out is the condos. This to me right here is definitely icing on the cake, because, and I don't go through all of them. I just point out the first one. Condo resort deals, deeply discounted timeshare weeks. The way that I explain this, I go, listen, most people spend 15, 20, $30,000 to get a timeshare. And then they pay the monthly or annual maintenance fees, all the junk fees that come along. And then you have to, like, literally die to get out of the contract, or do, something, tragic in the world has to happen. Something crazy has to happen, right? Or you can just pay $250 a year, or, obviously this comes with our passport product, but, $65 a month, 149 activation. But you can literally, there are tens of thousands of properties around the world. Like just in Argentina, there's over 2,400 rooms available for you to go stay at, on a property. Like here's Buenos Aires, right? 288 properties out there, and you can go search by the map, and you can see these deals. I mean, these are all week-long deals. This one's 4 nights. This one's 7 nights, but you can go find properties that are less than $100 a night and go stay in these unused timeshares all around different parts of the country. And you could spin the wheel. I mean, you could go anywhere. Here's Belize. There's 82 properties in San Pedro. And when I say properties, what I mean are different rooms, because some resorts have 20 rooms available. But I mean, this here for 7 nights at Captain Morgan's Vacation Club, you're only spending 515 bucks. So what most people believe, that in their own mind, that it's not affordable to go to Belize, would you agree that I know flights are around 500 bucks? You can stay for a week for another 500. So, and that's for 7 nights for 2 bedrooms with a full kitchen. Okay. So literally you, a spouse, two spouses, a couple could go for 515 and 2 flights, or, for $1,500, you're there for an entire week. Is that a great deal or what? So you just have to show people where the value is and be what I would consider a professional travel shopper. Here's over 2,400 properties just in Canada alone. So you want to go to the Fairmont Hot Springs, you want to go hang out in the wintertime up there. There's a lot of different cool things you could do. And what's neat about this program and this product is you're going to have the ability to go experience destinations that you've never even thought of or dreamt of because you never thought it was possible, and now it's affordable. All right, that's what's great about this. So I point this out all the time to everybody. You want to go to Indonesia? There's over 5,000 properties just in Indonesia alone. All right, and you can go click on anything that you want to go click on, different parts. I don't know all the parts out there, but you get my point. And you can see these properties. I mean, how would you like to stay here for $432 for 7 nights for a 1 bedroom? It sleeps 4 people, 2 people privately. So that means there's a pull-out couch in the living room. And you could literally go stay in Indonesia at this property and go, and then you can go view the deal and you go book it and you go enjoy yourself. And you can see all the different dates that are available. And you can see if you want to show more, you just hit show more. So it's not date specific as far as one date. There's many, many different options, and the price will adjust accordingly based upon it. And then you can also search, you can see the nights, you can search bedroom and bathroom, how many guests, all the different things. And you can scroll down, and the 2 bedrooms will probably pop up on this, as you go. All right. And you can just keep scrolling and find the date that's best for you. So I point out, just to recap, the hotels, the getaways, the condos. I let people know you can book cruises through here. My suggestion is to go look for the cruise you want. Call our concierge service because they can always at least beat the best online price by 10% and find you deals that you may not have access to. And then we do have access to some homes. This is more of a higher end Airbnb, if you will. And then you can book flights. I let people know there's no real savings on flights. If there is, you'll find it through us. But I do find our flights the same as like on Google Flights or any public site. Now, I have found international flights cheaper on us, but domestic is pretty much the same. And then you can book car rentals and get some deals as well. That's what I show people. That's it. It's the same booking engine as you would find on a public site. The only difference is you're getting a tremendous amount of value. And then I'll let them know that as a member of our travel program, we have a 4Travel More, where if you become a member today, you refer 4 people to our program, we'll credit you your equal monthly membership payment in the form of travel credits, and you can use that. There's no gotchas. You can let them stack and build them up, or you can use them every single month. And that's literally what I show people. It's that simple. The value is there. It's huge. I really encourage you guys to show this to your new people, walk them through what they have, because it'll create stickiness when they understand the value of what they have and how they search the deals and different things.